Welcome to the Successful Nurse Coach podcast. On this podcast, Laura
and Shelby, both board-certified nurse coaches, show you how to make as much money as you want in private practice as a nurse coach. Hello, and welcome back to the Successful Nurse Coach podcast. It is Shelby here today, flying solo. I am back at my desk today because I have an episode to bring to you where I need to pull up some data. But if you're listening to this on the podcast platform, you don't know the difference. And just as FYI, we stream or host our podcast with video, so you can see our pretty faces on YouTube if you ever want to check those out. But yeah, happy Monday, team. I know that I've done 2 solo episodes back to back here, and that my audio last week was trash. So my apologies for that. I tested this one 3 times. I'm hoping I will check it before I upload it. I'm hoping for a little bit better result today. But yeah, I'm excited this morning to tune in with you. I am recording before going to a retreat today, and I leave this afternoon. In true retreat style, this just must be like a zone of initiation, right? Of sign up for a retreat, don't know what you're doing, go anyway, and stress out everybody in your family. I've had a lot of conversations in the past 24 hours of where are you going? Who are these people? How do you know them? And I don't know any of those things. These are people that I am friends with on the internet. They are outside of the nurse coaching community, and I'm feeling really good about it. Yeah, and but it just must be the way retreats are done, because we do them this ways too, to where we like give you a time and a date and be like, meet us in the mountains. And this one's like time and a date, and we'll meet you in the Costa Rican jungle. So I'm excited to go hang out with some really cool humans and relax and hang out at the beach. Like, excited to do all those things. But this morning I wanted to talk about this concept of allowing yourself to dream a little bit bigger. And we're going to talk a little of the mindset here, and then I want to open some doorways potentially in your brain on how to do this, and I'll give you a reason why I think this can be helpful and important. But I do a lot of application calls. Laura and I combined, I don't even know how many people we've talked to. Hundreds and hundreds, over 700 or 800 people on calls over the years. And there's kind of like there's a few more nuance, but like if I had to boil it down to 2 different situations of whenever we are in the visioning process of proposal calls, and if you are familiar with our content, you will understand what I'm talking about here. But we walk you through this proposal process, and it's like we want to be proposing that people are not paying to spend time with you. They're paying for their dream, right? They're paying for problem solved, best case scenario. What does life look like if we can tackle, imposter syndrome, if we can tackle this self-confidence, if we can tackle going to the gym, like what does life look like if we're able to do these things? And I usually ask the question on application calls of, okay, so say, and since we work in business, obviously, I'm like, if we get your practice up and running, you have consistent income, then what? Like, then what are you doing with your time? How are you spending it? Who are you with? What are you doing? And sometimes I'll get the answer of like, oh, like nurse coaches will close their eyes and they're like, oh, I'm like in an RV on the weekends, like being a weekend warrior, camping in the mountains, just really disconnected from everything and out in nature. Or, oh my gosh, I want a homestead and I want goats and chickens and the whole 9 yards. I want a homestead. Or like I get to quit my job and I get to be there for my kids' soccer games, and I don't have to like barter taking off shifts. and I get to be there on Christmas mornings. And, I just have more time with my family. And then I usually ask, like, okay, what are you doing with that time? Right. I take it a step further, like make it really real for me. How is it different from what we're doing now? And is there any way that we can tap into that now? Is there any way that we can start not living life of like, well, when I do this, then I will blank. So I do those on application calls, and every once in a while I'll get a nurse coach that's just like, I don't know. I have to think about it. And they don't really have an answer. And I think that um this can be a result of like being in fight or flight for a really long time. We're in survival mode. We're not necessarily like thinking about the luxuries of our daydream, and I totally understand that. Um, but I want to share with you kind of the importance of not playing the game of just enough, right? Of like, I don't want too much, Shelby. I just want to like replace my nursing income or get really close or just want to make $5,000 a month. That'll be enough. I just want a six-figure practice and that's it. Like this like energy of like not taking up too much space, not being too bold, not wanting too much. Um, I could probably assume why that is the way it is. I won't put my foot in my mouth here, but um yeah, this like playing small mindset of, oh, I'll just need just enough of the piece of the pie and I'll be happy. I'm like, well, kind of like fuck that, politely fuck that. And like, what's the big juicy version? Like, what if you could have it all? What would that look like? If you could not have to constrain what your heart desires, what is it? And maybe this is like fear of failure, of like, I don't want to set the bar too high because then when I fall, it's really in a freaking sting, or perfectionist mindset of, what will people think of me if I fail or if I don't do it completely right? Then that like means that, I'm not good enough or I'm not worthy. Um, but I kind of like want to like box those thoughts up and put them to the side just for the remainder of this podcast. And let's pretend. I know that they exist, but like let's just pretend for the next 10 minutes that they don't. And um maybe begin to like tap into like, okay, if I don't have to worry about getting it right, if I don't have to worry about succeeding, if I don't have to worry about what other people are going to think, then what? Like what's on my heart's truest desire? And maybe it's not like the $1 million, you know, ultra RV or or the, like maybe the dream isn't really expensive. Um but like don't cap your energy here. Don't make it smaller just to not to be too much. And like I don't know, let's see, or if you have a current dream or have a current vision, how can it get 2% bigger? Like what would make it 2% extra or 2% better? Would you buy the fancy chicken coop? Would you get the little dune buggy to go with your RV? Like what would be the thing, if you won the lottery? What would be the things that you get? And your answer is not allowed to be, I would pay off all of everyone's debt and then donate all of the money. You can do good things with lottery money and also have a heck of a good time or at least one good vacation. Um, okay, so let me get back on track here. Um, the reason I wanted to share this with you today is that I know Laura and I talk really vaguely about success stories here and like different trajectories on what you can expect of, I think we used like a river metaphor once of like some people are like shooting down the river really fast. Some people are taking like they're tubing down the river and they're just floating one foot in front of the other. Sometimes people have to get off the river and take a break and then get back on the river. And we do that mostly to like protect our client's identity. But I want to talk a little bit more specifically of still vague of I probably won't share any of these people's niches just to keep them behind the curtain, but I want to share some different trajectories as far as income. And I think that this is important in relation to dreaming big enough because my first business coach did this for us every month. She would share the income she was making. She would share how many clients she signed every month. She did these things. And as a new coach, it was mind-boggling to me of because she was making like anywhere from $0 a month to $160,000 a month. And I got to like watch the behind the scenes wave. And at first I didn't know like what a generous gift that was. Um, but I'm so grateful. And I used to do this like a few years ago too. But I, I think that it was just like whenever I was able to see her pull that off, I was like, oh, like I can do that too. Those numbers aren't that big. Like they're attainable. I can see behind the scenes of how you made that happen. And it was a true gift, true gift. So I want to do that for all of you today. Um, but before we get to the straight black and white numbers, remember, money equals impact in the world, right? We are not all solely in this for the money. It is really nice to get paid. But if I was just in this for the money, I would go work for another sales company and like not have to worry about any of the CEO hoopla and just like go do sales for somebody else. But because I like to coach, because I like to help people, because all of us are here to help upgrade the human experience, in one way or another, this is often really close to our heart, which can make the money feel a little like weird. Again, putting the weird feelings about money in that like cute little box we talked about earlier. And we're not going to assign a bunch of meaning to it right now, but just, coming and realizing that like this is the way the world works. This is, a money exchange and energy exchange for change is the game that we play. So with that all being said, let's talk black and white numbers. So we've been tracking mentorship income since 2020. Um, and it's really cool when we get to work with people for 2 years and we get to see how their income, because the first year, I mean, you've heard us say it 100 times, is such like a wave. It's pretty volatile when it comes to income. But then year two, it starts to like smooth, or at least for our clients who are in masters. And then for year three, it gets even smoother. And I won't sit here and lie to you guys of like you're gonna have every month, you'll know how much you're gonna make because you don't know. However, your tolerance for the discomfort of that gets bigger as you go. You do get more tolerance. But this is going to be a little special shout out to my August crew, my August mentorship. They're coming into their final few sessions here, and they've been a powerhouse since the very, very beginning. I have a few ladies here. So they started in August of 2023. One of them made $2,400. One of them made $1,500, and one of them made $400. And the rest of my group of 8 made 0. That's really normal for month 1 in the mentorship. A lot of these ladies had been working on their business for 4 to 6 months before they joined the mentorship. Some of them had paid clients, not all of them. And yeah, so we came in with maybe like a little bit more experience than most mentorship groups, which was really fun to play with. But yeah, in August, they had a combined income total of what? $4,300. And in September, they had another I wish that I had a way to label these ladies better. But we had a client make $2,200 and then another client make $2,100 and then zeros across the board. Okay. Also really normal, not a big sweat. We're in the first 8 weeks officially of working together. Big learning curve. Then the third month, we have a 2,000, a 2,100, and a 2,000. So, and then the rest are zeros across the board. And then in November, we have a 1,700 and an 1,800, again, zeros. And then December, we have a $10,000 month, an $1,100 month, and then zeros across the board. So I know that you can't see the screen that I'm looking at, but there's only one nurse coach out of this whole group of 8 that is making money every single month. She did 24, 22, 21, 17, and 1,100. And you can see how that's like nice and pretty and consistent. And then we have another one who did, 0, 0, 2,000, 0, 10,000, which is amazing. Then we had another one who did the 1,500, the 2,100, 0, 1,800, 0. This is really regular. This is so normal for um, our mentorship stats. These are actually probably even above average. I'm looking at other groups around them. And this is just really normal because the first 6 to 8 months is such the most whiplash you will experience in business. So the fact that we have a $10,000 month on there kind of like blows my mind. It's incredible. And now hopping into 2024. So from August to December, our totals are 14,750, 10,345, 5,400, and 2,400. And that's half of the group. And then we have someone who made like $150 off a workshop. And then we have 3 zeros out of the group. Now, if we flip into 2024, so taking those numbers into account, our homie that had a $10,000 month in December, she also had an $8,000 month, 8,250 in January. And then in February and March, she had $2,000 months, right? And I believe in April, she had a $0 month fueled with a lot of intention. She was traveling, she was doing the things, kind of transitioning between clients. And so remember, like, just because you hit a $10,000 month doesn't mean we can expect that all of our problems are solved and we're just gonna like have $10,000 months from then on out. It's still very much a ride, right? Our other friend here who's doing really well, the one who has made money every month, she's continued her streak of $1,500 in January, $1,800 in February, $2,300 in March, $1,800 in April. And I know that she signed clients in May already. So it'll be exciting. I mean, we're recording this on May 27th, so it's a little early before the May numbers come in. Then we have one of our clients who hasn't made any money yet. And she hasn't been on a group call in a couple of weeks just due to some family circumstances. But she messaged me the other day and said she got her first paid client in April. I don't know what she ended up charging for that yet, but she went from August until April and she finally had her first paid client. I'm so excited for her. I can't wait to hear all the juicy details. And yeah, it can really just change that quickly, right? So she has her first paid client. We have 4 more months together, or 3 more months together. And yeah, excited to see what that morphs into. And then we have our client that's kind of been like making money and then none, and then making money and then none, and then making money and then none, kind of like oscillating between income and then no income every other month. She had a $5,000 month, 5,243 in January, and then 0 in February, then 4,650 in March, and then 7,500 in, oops, sorry, I jumped lines. 5,200 in January, 0 in February, 3,800 in March, and then 0 in April. So she's on a trend. And actually maybe that I see that now and put that together, we can point that out and just maybe either acknowledge her flow or maybe assess where she's upper limiting. I see a lot of entrepreneurs who hit the gas really hard one month and then they get tired and then they need like 4 weeks of a break. So we can deeper assess. Then I have another client who she's made $2,400 so far, and hasn't made anything since January to May. And I don't say that like hasn't made anything with any sort of judgment. She's also working full time and like the whole kit and kabang. She's connecting, she's inviting, she's proposing every single month. The pace is just a little slower and she knows that and it's all good. All right, now I want to point out someone who didn't make anything from August to December, right? She had no income. This is actually a client of ours who came from an alternative certification, who didn't graduate like traditional nurse coaching. And I did her supervision, and she had a coaching certification, and then she needed her pro bono hours. So she did all of her pro bono hours while being in the mentorship. She did that over 4 months. And then she sat for her board exam and she passed. And ever since she passed her board exam, the lights have been on in the house. Like it's just been an energetic yes. She's been all in. She's been um, like ready to go. She's always taken action, but like she had this benchmark that she wanted to be board certified before she charged people. And as soon as she became board certified, she started charging people and now she's making money. So win-win. But she made $3,700 in January, zero in February, $4,650 in March, and $7,500 in April, bringing her total to like right under 16K in 4 months, which is great. It's wonderful. Then I have a beautiful human who also had not made any money yet. Signed her first client this month, and so she's officially on the board. And again, I haven't met with her since she signed that client, so I'm excited to update her numbers and kind of to put this all in perspective. So it's April, or I'm sorry, we're technically at the end of May. I don't have May numbers on my spreadsheet yet, but this group runs until the end of August. And the numbers that we have so far are 20,500, 1745, 1443, 2400, 15,850. These are phenomenal numbers. These are wonderful numbers. This group is a force. And I mean, I feel like we're really hitting a stride right now. A lot of them are starting to enroll groups. A lot of them are looking to scale. They have put in the reps, they have put in the time, they have coached their 100 hours, they have done all of the things that we have asked them to do, and it shows, right? This is the foundation. This is the foundation of what it takes, because I was talking with one of them earlier and she was talking about like, okay, how do I scale? How do I do this? And like, those are all good questions. But I invited her to pause and I was like, dude, let's like appreciate all of the things that you had to do to come to be here, to have this clarity, to know who you wanted to coach, to be able to scale. Like, it's a lot of work to get to this point and you've done it. Like, it's a super awesome moment to just like pause and soak it in. And I haven't met too many nurse coaches. One comes to mind to where they can just like open up shop and start running groups. A lot of people have to put in the reps and time and the coaching in order to do that. So it's exciting to see this group begin to tap into that phase. All right, team. One more thing I want to share with you here. Year 2. Now, I don't have year 2 data on the people that I've been talking about this whole time. But I want to share with you maybe a different group, and I'll speed through it a little more quickly here. So, our master's peeps, they have to have their first 10 paid clients to come to masters, to get invited to masters. And I want to talk about some that we just wrapped up with like end of March. So, if you can rewind in your brain all the way to 2022, these ladies, their income for 2022 ranged from $12,000, almost 13, to $100,000. And that's their first year of business, their very first year of business. So we have 13, 21, 22, 31, 80, and 101. It's pretty wide range, right? And I was just talking with someone who started in masters last month. She's like, I'm just really worried that I'm not going to return my investment. I was like, I totally get that, but like, let me paint you a picture. I've never had anybody ever in masters not return their investment and then some, right? So they started in January, which makes this super clean. And out of the whole year, from January to December of 2023, there were 3 months between the 6 of them where they didn't earn any income. That's pretty crazy. It's actually really wonderful. Now, A lot of it ranges, right? Someone had a $17,000 month. I'll tell you about our highest income earner here. 17, 23, 33, $20,000 from January to April. Then she had some lower income months, 2,500, 2,400. Then back up, 14,000, 29,000, 13,500, 22,000, 28,000, 24,000. Incredible. Some other numbers from this group, right? 5,500, 1,000, 5,800, 7,700, 12, 0, 1,250, 1,200, 1,000, 2,400, 3,500, 2,200, 3,600. This client, we ended up working with them for 3 more months. They went from March to March. But like, I think it was like 6 weeks after our master's group ended, she was completely booked out, to where she had oscillated between like 4 and 6 clients. She was completely booked out 2 months after master's. And then another just fun numbers here: 7,000, 4,000, 4,000, 7,500, 8,000, 5,500, 2,800, 22,000. Do you see that? 2,800 to 22,000, 14,000. And I'm going in monthly order from January to December. 88 or 8,900, 7,200, 11,000, right? And then one more for kicks and grins here. 11,000, 11,000, 9,300, 21,000, 16,500, 14,500, 16,500, 17,900, 10,500, 18,000, 13,000, 16,000. Wild. I'm like getting like juiced up reviewing these numbers. Yeah, so it brings their year 2 total, right, in 2023, ranging from $35,000 to $228,000. Bananas. Bananas. So those are big numbers. A lot of times I share those numbers and people's eyes get big as saucers, and I don't share those numbers to intimidate you, but to inspire you, right? Of like, this is what's possible. These numbers are not me and Laura's numbers. These are people that have put in the time, who have coached their butts off, who are just like you, who started just like you, and they now have this kind of income rolling in their business. Yeah, I just want to leave you with a little thought, to dream, to give yourself permission to dream a little bigger than you did before, to know what is possible with the right support and the right tools. Like, all of this could be yours at the same time. 100% could be yours. All right, team, let's do a time check. Where are we at? Oh, I don't have a timer on this one. I'm just going to trust that it is long enough, that it is complete enough. I hope that this was helpful. Like I said, my first business coach ever did this for us, where she would share, her $160,000 months, and then the next month when she made nothing. I think that was really helpful for me to see, like, nothing has gone wrong. It just is, right? Are we going to be sad that we made $160,000 one month and then $0 the next? No, because next month, like, I can do whatever in the next month, right? Potential is always on the horizon. That's kind of the cool thing with entrepreneurship, is that you are in control of the gas pedal, and we aren't like pigeonholed into a 9 to 5 where we're like, we can't pick up overtime, or we can't make more money, or we can't do any of these things. Like, actually, yes, you can, babe. I'm not an advocate for work until midnight, but you are in control to make whatever income on your spreadsheet possible. And yeah, let me know if this was helpful. Let me know what you think. Did I inspire you, or did I scare you? Hopefully the former. And we'll see you same time, same place next week, team. Lots of love.